We're back, everybody. I'm going to have to reshare this with everybody again. I do apologize. As I said at the beginning of the video of the last section, unfortunately, the theatre has a little bit of a weak Wi-Fi sometimes, and I lost you all. Back now, where I left off, and what I will do later is I will reconnect these two videos and repost it live. So it happened, but I'm gonna put them together. And so we're in the middle of the 133rd night of 1001 Arabian Nights. My name is Joanna Godwin Seidl. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. So the princess laughed at her words and said, "Allah afflict thee, O pernicious old hag. Thou dotest, and there is no sense left in thee." Presently she resumed, "Give me the stuff that I may look at it anew." So she gave it to her, and she took it again, and saw that its size, and saw that its size was small, and its value great. It pleased her, for she had never in her life seen its like, and she exclaimed, "By Allah, this is handsome stuff." Answered the old woman, "O my lady, by Allah, if thou sawest its owner, thou wouldst know him for the handsomest man on the face of the earth." Quoth the Lady Dunya, "Didst thou ask him if he had any need that he might tell us and we might satisfy it?" But the nurse shook her head and said, "The Lord keep thy sagacity. By Allah, he hath a want. May thy skill not fail thee." "What is any man free from wants?" rejoined the princess. "Go back to him and salute him and say to him, our land and town are honoured by thy visit, and if thou have any need, we will fulfil it to thee on our head and eyes." So the old lady at once returned to Taj al-Muluk, and when he saw her, his heart jumped with joy and gladness, and he rose to his feet before her, and taking her hand, seated her by his side. As soon as she was rested, she told him that Princess Dunya had said, and on hearing it, joyed with exceeding joy. His breast dilated to the full, gladness entered his heart, and he said to himself, "Verily, I have my need." Then he asked the old woman, "Happily, thou wilt take her a message from me and bring me her answer." And she answered, "I hear and I obey." So he said to Aziz, "Bring me ink and paper and a brazen pen." And when Aziz brought him what he sought, he had the pen in hand and wrote these lines of poetry. "I write to thee, O fondest hope, a writ of grief that severance on my soul doth lay. Saith its first line, within my heart is love. Its second, love and longing on me prey. Its third, my patience waste is, fades my life. Its fourth, naught shall gain my pain and pine allay. Its fifth, what shall mine eyes enjoy thy sight? Its sixth, say, when shall dawn our meeting day? And lastly, by way of subscription, he wrote these words: "This letter, from the captive of captivation, prisoned in the hold of longing expectation, wherefrom is no emancipation, but in anticipation and in unification, after absence and separation, far from severance of friends his lover so fain, he suffereth love pangs and pining pain." Then his tears rushed out, and he indited these two couplets: "I write thee, love, the while my tears pour down, nor cease thy ever pouring thick and fleet. Yet I despair not of my God, whose grace haply some day will grant us twain to meet." Then he folded the letter and sealed it with his signet ring and gave it to the old woman, saying, Carry it to Lady Dunya. Quoth she, to hear is to obey. Whereupon he gave her 1,000 dinars and said to her, O my mother, accept this gift from me as a token of my affection. She took both from him and blessed him and went her way and never stinted walking till she went in to the Lady Dunya. Now, when the princess saw her, she said to her, O my nurse, what is it that he asketh of need that we may fulfill his wish to him? Replied the old lady, O my lady, he sendeth thee this letter by me, and I know not what is in it, and handed it to her. Then the princess took the letter and read it, and when she understood it, she exclaimed, Whence cometh and whither goeth this merchantman that he doth address such a letter to me? And she slapped her face, saying, Whence are we that we should come to shopkeeping? Allah! Allah! By the Lord, but I fear the Almighty Allah, I had slain him. And she added, Yea, I had crucified him over his shop door. Asked the old woman, What is in this letter to vex thy heart and move thy wrath on this wise? Doth it contain a complaint of oppression, or demand for the price of the stuff? Answered the princess, Woe to thee! There is none of this in it, nor but words of love and endearment. This is all through thee, otherwise whence should this Satan know me? Rejoined the old woman, O my lady, thou sittest in thy high place, and none may have access to thee, no, not even the birds of the air. Allah keep thee, and keep thy youth from blame and reproach. Thou needest not care for the barking of dogs, for thou art a princess, the daughter of a king. Be not wroth with me that I brought thee this letter, knowing not what is in it, but I opine that thou send him an answer, and threaten him with death, and forbid him this foolish talk. Surely he will abstain and not do thee like again. Quoth the Lady Dunya, I fear that if I write to him, he will desire me the more. The old woman returned, When he heareth thy threats and promise of punishment, he will desist from his persistence. She cried, Here were the ink case and paper and brazen pen. And when they brought them, she wrote these couplets. O thou, who for thy wakeful nights wouldst claim my love to boon, for what of pining thou must feel and tribulation? Dost thou fond fool and proud of sprite seek meeting with the moon? Say, did man ever win his wish to take its arms in the moon? I counsel thee, from soul cast out the wish that dwells therein, and cut that thou short which threatens thee with sore risk over soon. And to such talk thou dare return, I bid thee to expect. Fro me such awful penalty as suiteth forward loon. I swear by him who moulded man from gout of clotted blood, who lit then the sun to shine by day and lit for night the moon. As thou return to mention that thou spakest in thy pride, upon a cross of tree for boon, I'll have thee crucified. Then she folded the letter and handed it to the old hag, saying, Give him this, and say him, Cease from the talk. Hearkening and obedience, replied the old woman, and taking the letter with joy, returned to her own house, where she passed the night. And when morning dawned, she betook herself to the shop of Taj al-Muluk, whom he found expecting her. When he saw her, he was high for delight, and when she came up to him, he stood to her on his feet and seated her by his side. Then she brought out the letter and gave it to him, saying, Read what is in this, adding, Princess Dunya read thy letter, she was angry. But I coaxed her, and I jested with her, till I made her laugh, and she had pity on thee, and she have returned thee an answer. He thanked her for kindness, and bade Aziz give her 1,000 gold pieces. Then he perused the letter, fell a weeping so sore that his heart was moved to ruth for him, and his tears and complaints were grievous to her. Presently she asked him, "O my son, what is there in me?" Answered he, "She hath threatened me and crucifixion, and she forbiddeth me to write to her. But if I write not, my death were better than my life. So take thou my answer to her letter, and let her work her will." Rejoined the old woman, "By the life of thy youth, needs must I risk my existence for thee, that I may thy desire and help thee to win what thou hast at heart." And Taj al-Muluk said, "Whatever thou dost, I will requite thee for it, and do thou weigh it in the scales of thy judgment, for thou art experienced in managing matters, and skilled in the chapters of the book of intrigue. All hard matters to thee are easy doings, and Allah can bring about everything." Then he took a sheet of paper and wrote thereon the... Hello everybody. Oh, ouch. I do apologise. There we go. So, as I said, the internet connection here is incredibly weak. So, here I am again in another room. I found a clearer connection, and we were so close. We were so close to the end. I'm so disappointed that it didn't work out. So here we go. I do apologise for the break. I'm going to try and splice this all together later this evening and read the rest for you. So, then he took a sheet of paper and wrote thereon these improvised couplets. "Yestreen my love with slaughter menaced me, but sweet was slaughter and death's foreordained. Yes, death is sweet, for lover doomed to bear long life, rejected, injured and constrained. By Allah, deign to visit friendless friend. Thy thrall am I, and like a thrall I'm chained. Mercy, O lady mine, for loving thee, who loveth noble soul should be assained." Then he sighed. Then he sighed heavy sighs and wept till the old woman wept also. And presently, taking the letter, she said to him, "Be of good cheer, and cool eyes and clear, for needs must I bring thee to thy wish." And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who watch this later, I do apologise for the mishaps and the breakages. I am at the theatre this evening. I have been here since 11 o'clock this morning, setting up, rehearsing, organising things. We worked through until 9 o'clock in the evening with various meetings, and then doing a read-through of the next show that I'm doing. And so it's been a little bit higgledy-piggledy today. Saman will be back with you tomorrow. She's going to be able to do that from home, which is really, really great. I will be back with you on Friday. And I really look forward to reading to you again. It was an absolute pleasure tonight, even though it was slightly disrupted. That's what live reading does for you. I wish you this evening, or for the rest of your day, or the beginning of your day, wherever you are, all over the world, in what you are doing, I wish you many, many blessings and a wonderful good night. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and we will see each other very, very soon. Thank you so much. Good night. Look after yourselves, everybody. Bye-bye.